101 TKO Radio. Good morning. That's okay. Ooh, put the music back on. I got to get back in my zone because that fucked me all up. Yeah, put the music back on. They can hear me right now. Put the music on. One TKO Radio. Good morning. Happy Monday. Y'all know what time it is. Shout out to DJ GQ for the mix, man. That mix is a whole vibe. I didn't even want to stop it. I was like, Lord, have mercy. But listen, it's hump day, y'all. Who y'all humping on today? Give me a call, 678-439-7419. If you're not ashamed to say who you humping today. Speaking of humping today, I got to give a really big shout out to Love for Crew J. I am Love for Crew rocking the brand today. Y'all can see it if you're watching my live feed video. That's right, Love for Crew. They will be in studio with us on Friday, so I'm super excited about that. I got a very special guest that's coming in this morning, my girl Bree Simone from Liddy in the City, a.k.a. Miss Licensed Realtor, just to name a few, spiritualist, mom, radio personality, and more. So I am super excited about today, and I might just have some tickets that I want to give away because you know how we get down with get down. So with that being said, I'm gonna let y'all grind and listen to a little bit more music over these airwaves, and I'll be back in just a minute. So make sure you guys stay locked to 101 TKO Radio, knocking them out the box. We'll be back in a minute. Yeah. 101 TK Radio. Good morning. Happy hump day. My favorite day of the week outside of Friday. It's your girl, I am Chelsea Speaks on these airwaves. I guess everybody doing their thing today. Y'all just working. Y'all ain't paying attention to me. But anyway, listen, we got some celebrity birthdays that I want to get out the way before my special guest comes in. Happy birthday to our honorable, rest in peace, Bernie Mac today, guys. Today is his birthday. Shout out to his family. Today is also the birthday of DJ, one of my favorite trap R&B DJs, trap bass, if you will, Dylan Francis. Hands together for Dylan Francis, my guy. And then Kate Winslet. Wasn't Kate the one that was on Titanic? I think Kate was on Titanic. She wouldn't let Jack get on the damn on the door. So I don't know if I want to tell her happy birthday. So definitely want to shout out, all of them all together. We got to be good. When we come back, we got to talk about this whole Coach Stormy thing with her and the vibrational plates and because TikTok, Twitter, everybody's eating it up. And I had to touch on this because Monday we talked about this on my show where we were talking about coaches and things like that. So I am anxious to see what you guys have to say about this because I was kind of taken back by the way she talked to the girl. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm not a fan of Coach Stormy, but I mean, let everybody stay in their lane. That's just not the lane that I want to be in. So with that being said, you guys make sure you stay locked in. Keep listening to the music. We'll be back in just a minute with my special guest, Atlanta's own Bree Simone on 101 TKO Radio, knocking them out the box.
Perfect. Ready? Rock. So I am finishing up my 3-day cleanse. Your spiritual retreat. Well, I've been on the 3-day.
One TK Radio. Good morning, happy Wednesday. It's your girl. I am Chelsea Speaks. Y'all already know what time it is. Put your hands together one time while we get these audios together. Y'all know what time it is. We got a very special guest in the building. If the house ain't a home, you know what I'm saying? We heard the songs talk about it, but now we got a licensed realtor in the building to talk about a whole lot of home wrecking. I'm playing home getting stuff. So put your hands together one time for my girl Bree Simone. Atlanta's on. Hey, Bree.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm happy to have you because this is going to be the time that we just dig into what you do more and I get to know you. And I got a lot of questions about this whole real estate field because I feel like our culture, we hear real estate, but a lot of times because we don't know, we tend to regurgitate information and we never end up in houses because we going off of what our mom and them said when that may not be the case.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, I'm going to break you in. You ready?
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right. So I always ask my guests 3 questions.
Okay.
Now, the name of the game is you got to say whatever comes to your mind first. You cannot take a second and think back. So you ready?
I'm ready. This is scary.
All right. Here we go. Favorite position?
Doggy style.
Okay. She came with it. Okay.
And CEO.
Okay. I know that's right. Hello. There she goes. She listened. Come on. No, goddamn. Okay. Second question. Who is your all-time celebrity crush?
I would have to say Boris Kojo.
Really?
Yeah.
That's old school crush.
I know.
Boris is a little sexy. He kind of ages backwards, too.
I was just about to say, he ages like fine wine. He has like the vampire thing going.
Him and little Nicole, they just
love them together.
They're a sexy couple.
They are.
They can both get it.
Like that's couple goals for me.
Yes, couple goals. Okay, third question. If you could have chosen any other career, what would it have been and why?
I had to think about that one first because literally I was thinking like I would be a sex worker.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Really?
Probably not. Okay. But that was the first thing that came to mind.
Okay.
So
really?
But I love what I do. I think I am in the lane that I've always wanted to be in, which is real estate. I've been in real estate for over 15 years.
Okay.
So I always saw myself doing exactly what I do today.
Wow. So let's talk about your background. What was Bree like growing up? Were you one that looked at houses or what was your childhood like?
Growing up, my mother was in property management.
Really?
So I stayed in the office with her. I started off filing things for her.
Wow.
And greeting customers and residents when they came into the office.
Okay.
So I've always known this life and seen the lifestyle of someone in real estate. And I saw it from a very early age. Okay. So I always kind of aspired to be like my mom. I just thought that was so dope. And I liked the interaction. You get to build these relationships with people.
Okay.
And you are doing something that really matters and makes a difference, you know? And so I've always been a big proponent of making that whole journey and that experience a really positive one for people.
Right. So instead of just buying a home, it's a whole experience with a realtor because, we're in the era where everybody and their mama is a realtor.
Oh, my goodness.
Have you noticed the increase?
Especially like since the pandemic.
Why do you think that they went into realtor so much? Is it because of the market or what's your guess?
Well, the market for one, at one point, houses were just flying off the shelves. And so I think I'm sorry, but we're going to get you straight though. I think for a lot of people, they thought that it was easy. And at one point it was. It was. People would list homes and they would literally stay on the market for 2 or 3 days.
Wow.
If you had a listing, you were getting 20, 30, sometimes 40 offers on that home. So it was really easy during that time. And so a lot of people saw that. And then the pandemic, I think it kind of birthed a lot of entrepreneurs.
Definitely.
And so that spirit of entrepreneurship, I think people just were like, okay, I can do this. This is something that I see people eating with, succeeding in.
Don't have to graduate high school to get a GED, really.
But that test that exam is crazy.
Is it?
I know quite a few people who have had to take it 2 or 3 times to pass.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Now, is there a difference? Because I've heard people say I'm a realtor, and then I've heard people say I'm a licensed realtor.
Right.
Are there two different categories?
So the difference is not between a realtor and a licensed realtor. A realtor is going to be licensed.
Okay.
There is a difference, however, between a realtor and a real estate agent.
Okay.
So a realtor is a member of the National Realtors Association.
Okay.
And so that board kind of governs what we do and how we move a little bit more. But, there can be a licensed real estate agent as well.
Okay.
I am a licensed realtor.
Okay, so what is a real estate agent?
The same. We all do the same. They
Okay.
just are not a member. They aren't governed by a real estate board or an association.
Okay.
They're not official members.
Okay.
So they can't put that little R behind.
Really?
Right. Yeah.
And that makes a big difference. Would you say that matters, like, for your
Absolutely.
clientele?
So for anybody, it's about really taking pride in what you do. And so there are always levels or tiers to anything.
Okay.
Right. And so for me, in my opinion, people who really take pride in what they do in this game, in this industry, are going to be, bagged by an association. They are going to be a realtor. They understand that it matters, and there's a certain level of integrity that precedes our name when we put that there.
I know that's right. I feel like I'm going to get a house today. I don't know how to
Yes, you are.
So listen, before we go to our break, what are some of the house shows that you like to watch? Because I feel like you probably like Sunset, OC. So what are some of the shows that you like?
I watched Ladies Who List Atlanta.
Okay.
In fact, Chris Kimbrough.
That's my
on
cheerleader
there.
sister.
I know you guys went to school together.
Right.
I just left a retreat with her.
Wow.
So I not only have I been one of her top producers, I close a lot of my deals with her at her she's a closing attorney. She owns a law firm here, Kimbrough Law, and so I close a lot of deals there. I've been like the top agent there before, but also she and my broker, Val and Lyons, the Cole Realty Group, sponsored an event for their top. It began as a top 10, but there were limits that you had to meet or minimums, I would say. And so, I sold over $2 million in the month of September.
Wow.
So I was one of the people on the trip. We had a beautiful retreat in Panama City Beach. So shout out to Chris Kimbrough. Shout out to Val and Lyons. But I love Ladies Who List. I'm also a fan of Kiana Watson. I like that she has built a name for herself here in Atlanta. And they are doing things differently. They are developing. Which is big, and that's something that I'm looking to do as well. I do invest already, and I represent a lot of investors. I'm known for my knowledge and my attention to detail when it comes to finding sound investments for my clients. So I love Ladies Who List because they represent that. And Selling Tampa, that was a newer one, but I like that one. It was entertaining.
It was definitely entertaining. I had some questions about that one. I was like, okay, then, all right, that's how they get down.
Yeah, it wasn't so much focused on selling, I think, but
a lot more drama, but okay.
It was a little, but I like both. I mean, that's kind of like my guilty pleasure. I can't even lie.
I think we all have those guilty pleasures.
So those are the two for me. I haven't really. I like things that kind of resonate with my soul. So Sunset is, that's kind of a little bit different for me.
Yeah.
I like people who look like me.
Like you.
Exactly. I like seeing them handle their business and move up and level up. So,
because I was just about to ask you before we go to break, is it that catty for is it that like sharky in the real estate?
Yes.
Field? Really?
Yes, it is. However, let me just say this, and this is not just a shameless plug, but my brokerage, the Cole Realty Group, our motto is no agent left behind.
Okay.
And we stand on that. So when you come in, I have a team of 12 agents. So I am in leadership at the Cole Realty Group. But let me tell you, you can call any one of the agents that are employed at Cole Realty Group, whether it's in Atlanta, whether it's in Texas, whether it's in Florida, and get the answers that you need. If you are a new agent and you need that guidance, you need that support, we all offer it.
Wow.
So you don't have to be on my team to call me up or get your questions answered. We are going to make sure that you succeed in this game. So if you have the grit, if you have the desire, we are going to give you the tools that you need to be able to to succeed. And I can't say that for a lot of other brokerages out here.
I know that's right. They giving a to succeed out here, unlike my ex did to me. So anyway, we come back
Ooh.
101 TK Radio. We'll talk some more to Bree Simone and the real estate industry and how you too can be a homeowner. We'll be back in a minute.
Yes.
101 TKO Radio, feeling young, treat me like an OG. Oh my
Ooh.
God. That line came in strong, did it?
Right.
Listen, well, before we go further, I got to do my national holidays today. So I'm going to share them with you. Tell me what you think.
All right.
So today is National Do Something Nice Day. When is the last time somebody did something nice for you?
Oh my goodness. People do nice things for
That's
me
good.
all day, every day. I literally have the most amazing circle of people around me. And even like my co-hosts are amazing. City and JD.
Shout out to the gang.
Oh my goodness. Shout out to the Liddy and the City show.
Hey.
They are like the best friends, guy friends especially, that I could ever ask for.
I love that.
So, it's like they're going to get me some food. They're going to hold doors. They're going to call and check on me.
Yep.
They're just super supportive. And my girlfriends are the same.
That's
like when they
good.
know I'm doing something, like I've been doing this 3-day cleanse, they're going to call me in the morning. How's it going? Like, you can do this. They give me that emotional support that I
like
need.
that.
And so, I'm surrounded by goodness. Even my kids the same way, my parents.
Oh.
Yeah, I really believe like in the law of attraction. So what you put out in the world, in the universe, is what you get back.
Absolutely.
And so I'm constantly trying to be good and do nice things to people, and I get it back tenfold, no lie.
I know that's right. People talk about karma, but they don't realize karma is also good too.
Is
It ain't got to be bad all the
Yeah.
time. Like, you treat people right, you're gonna get it back in return. So,
Absolutely.
okay. Now today is also International Walk to School Day. Have you ever had to walk to school?
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
Well-
was it fun back in the day? I'm saying back in the day like it was like 1920.
It was back in the day, girl. It was back in the day. I will be 43 next month. It was back in the day.
I promise
So.
Bree like she's 22. If y'all can see
Thank
Bree.
you.
I'm for real.
Thank you. Yeah, my baby is 23. I don't think she's ever walked to school, but
Okay.
I only really walked to school when I missed the bus.
Okay.
And my mom had already told me, you better not miss that bus this morning. And so, you already know you missed the bus, but you
Yeah.
gonna walk up to that bus stop anyway.
Yes, you gotta finish it, see it through.
You gotta see it through, and then you get up there, and the bus, you ain't nobody standing up there. So, baby, you just know me knowing my mama.
Yeah.
Just keep on
Go
moving.
on, keep on going. Don't even go back home.
So that was that. But my kids are walkers.
Okay. Oh, really?
My sons are walkers. However, they don't walk home.
Okay.
But I'm not standing in that carpool line, in the pickup line. That line is long.
I've heard horror stories about those lines.
Baby, you can be in that line for 45 minutes.
Why does it go so slow?
I don't know. The systems.
Okay,
Systems make the world go round.
This is true.
And so they need better systems. But my kids are walkers.
Okay.
And so they are instructed to begin walking. All right. And then I pick them up right down the street from the school. That's how that works. That's how that
Okay,
works.
so they meet you halfway. They come on out the whole crowd.
Exactly. So we celebrate National Walk to School Day every day.
Okay, all right then. Shout out to the parents out there. Okay, today is also National Get Funky Day. What would you do if you were on a date and his breath was funky? How would you tell him?
I probably wouldn't tell him.
Okay,
I
that's
probably
real.
wouldn't tell him. Just the type of person I am, my personality. Like, I would end the date sooner rather than later.
Okay.
But I wouldn't tell him.
What if he leaning for a kiss?
Oh, no. I mean, first of all, so, I'm an energy person. And so I'm really big on people who aren't self-aware. And so if your breath is not up to par, amongst other things, like, you're not going to get the energy from me to lean in for a kiss.
Gotcha.
And so if they did, though, I would probably just kind of like laugh it off and put my hand up.
Put the wave up real quick.
What?
Bree, you silly. You play too much.
Yes, you do.
Okay, then, and last but not least, today is National Pumpkin Seed Day. Are you a fan of pumpkin spice? Like, do you like the fall?
I don't really care for pumpkin spice, but I
Okay.
love pumpkin seeds.
Okay.
I put, I like anything from the earth. So I do like pumpkins. Let me just say that.
Okay.
Pumpkin pie.
Okay.
I can deal with. My mom knows how to make the best pumpkin pie. She literally can make it taste like sweet potato pie.
Oh.
Yeah. And so there are some other places too that have some really amazing like pumpkin souffles.
Okay.
And they have like that, they brown them just a little bit on the top and and they're like nice and ooh,
you look like
gooey in the
like
middle.
In your mind, you see
and then throw some marshmallows on top.
That's your thing right there.
But pumpkin spice, though, I'm not a big fan of it. I know that it is associated with fall. When you think fall, no, I don't even like the smell. So all the pumpkin spice candles, those scents and things, that's not me.
I'm glad I ain't bringing that in the station.
Fellas,
I was like,
yes, and fellas, so look, if I ever come to your home, no pumpkin spice.
Please,
okay, no pumpkin spice and no vanilla.
No vanilla too?
No vanilla.
Now, let me ask you this. When Bath & Body Works first had that whole jasmine blossom and all that, what was your favorite scent back in the day?
Man, you talking about that cherry blossom. Yo.
Every girl had it.
I wore it out.
Did you?
The Japanese
Did you
cherry
have a whole
blossom?
set?
Absolutely.
Lord, Bree.
Absolutely.
And
I have sensitive
purse?
skin.
Okay.
So, I had to use it sparingly.
Okay.
But I did use it.
So were you the type of girl like in high school, you would carry it around and pull it out and spray it?
Yes, I'm big on sprays, hygiene, things like that.
Okay.
And so I always, like when I walk by, I want people to get a whiff.
Yeah.
And I want it to be a good whiff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I've heard people say putting perfume on your ankles. Is that true?
They're all your pulse points.
Okay.
So anywhere. So that's why your neck is a good spot, your wrist's a good spot, your ankles, and behind your knees. That's another one.
Really?
Behind your knees. Thank me later.
Listen. All right. Shout out to my little boo thing. Anyway, listen. Talk about knees and all that. Let's get back to this real estate field. So compared to all the states around, who would you, if you had to say, what state do you feel has the best, I think, real estate industry based on what you know?
Ooh. Well, I mean, I'm here in Atlanta. I love real estate here in Atlanta. Now, look, real estate here in Atlanta is a little overpriced.
Okay.
But so it is that way almost everywhere now.
Okay.
So post-pandemic, we're finding that the prices are coming down a little bit.
Okay.
And so we are seeing a decrease in the prices, but not a whole lot. And so people who are concerned about their homes depreciating in value really shouldn't have that thought or concern or fear. Overall, over the past 20 years, real estate in Georgia has appreciated over 230%.
Wow.
Yes. So Atlanta is a hot real estate market now. It has become a little oversaturated.
Okay.
I'm going to just keep it real.
We can.
We have a lot of investors from around the country who have infiltrated Atlanta real estate and bought it all up, and now they're selling it at a premium. And so the profits are a little bit smaller now, but it's still a really good market to purchase real estate. So you purchase, you may not be able to get $100,000 out of a fix and flip right now, but you still can get $50,000.
And that's better than...
Oh, yes. Real estate is one of the best investment vehicles that has ever existed and will ever exist.
Because it's always going to be need for houses and things like that.
Always, always, always.
Wow.
Always. People are always growing up. Okay. People are always growing out of houses.
This is true.
People are always, unfortunately, divorcing.
Yeah.
Okay. So there will always be a need for real estate. And if you own it, it's an asset that is going to appreciate. Even if it depreciates at some point, it's always going to appreciate. Again, if you look at the past 20 years in Georgia with all the market fluctuations that we've experienced, you still look at 20 years, 230% appreciation.
That's a high number right there.
That is a nice return on the investment.
Wow. So for the average person, I feel like most of us, and I'm putting myself in it, we don't really understand the home buying process for somebody that didn't really grow up around that. So if a person has a 580, 650, like how does that process work? And what's the difference in, I think we talked about it on first time home buyer programs versus when you actually have the credit score. So how do those processes look?
So your credit score does determine what products are available to you.
Okay.
Other than that, people are being put in houses with 550 and 580 credit scores.
Really?
So there are programs out there, right? So if you have a 550, can you get a mortgage? Maybe not. But are there programs out there for you? Absolutely. There are programs such as rent to own programs like Landis, like Divvy.
So those are real.
Those are real
because
programs.
I've seen those.
I
on
put
Craigslist,
people
but
in houses all the time using those programs. So they are designed to give you you about 2 to 3 years to get your ish together.
Okay.
So if you need more time to save money for a down payment, if you need more time to repair your credit, you can go to a company like Divvy or Landis. I do recommend finding a realtor first. You get a realtor first, and then they will sign you up with those respective companies and put you in the game. And so you go house shopping. Once you get approved, if you have stable work history, and you have enough money to put down maybe 2% of the price of the home, they will approve you and you get to go home shopping. They will literally purchase the home for you, the home that you choose and you select, and then they will put you in it. You will rent it from them for up to 3 years. And many times you're paying the base rent plus a slight premium that will be credited towards your down payment when you actually buy it back from them in 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
But they are wonderful programs. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people think, okay, my monthly rental amount should be the same as a mortgage, and that's not true. You are still renting.
Right.
So again, with renting, there's a premium that's involved. So you're going to be paying rent, not a mortgage. So the company, that's kind of how they make their money. You know, they're renting for you, but they are not in the business of renting forever.
Okay.
So after 2 or 3 years, you got to go. Either you got to buy the house, like you said, or you got to go and they're going to sell the house. Right. They're not investors in the sense that they keep inventory like that.
And enabling you to kind of stay in that situation. They want you to kind of move on beyond that.
Exactly. And so those are really viable options. And then you have the FHA program, which is really good. They take credit scores as low as 580, I believe. And they are kind of changing those limits all the time. But 580. Now, the thing about FHA, a lot of people like FHA because it's a lower down payment and lower credit score requirements. The down payment for FHA product is 3.5%.
Okay.
All right. And then you have your closing costs. That's another misconception. People think, okay, all I need is 3.5% to get a house. That is not all you need to get a house. That is your down payment. There are also closing costs, and closing costs, for the most part, are going to run you anywhere from 3 to 4% of the home value as well, or the purchase price, let me say. So on average, I normally tell people to have 7% of the sales price available to purchase a home.
Okay.
All right. And so that is why programs like Divvy and Landis are beneficial, because if you don't yet have 7%, but you have 2%, you can still try before you buy. So you can pick your home, you can move into it, you can give 2% as opposed to 7%. They give you time to save. You got 2 or 3 years to save.
Wow.
And then you're already trying the home that you want. You're trying out that area. And look, if you don't like it, you can move. Now, you're going to lose some of that money, but not all of it. So they will give you a part of that home savings back if you've been putting money towards your down payment. So it's not a complete loss, but again, it's a way to get into the home that you actually want. Now, FHA is great. Like I said, 3.5% down plus your closing costs. However, in a more competitive market, FHA is kind of at the bottom of the totem pole.
Okay.
When sellers are looking at the offers that come in for their home. Most of the time they're going to prefer a cash buyer.
Okay.
And then if there's not a cash offer, then they're going to prefer a conventional offer, and then FHA and VA underneath that, right? So it's kind of tiers to it. Now, you shouldn't be discouraged if the only thing you qualify for is an FHA or VA, because it's still good. You can still get in, and if you have a good realtor like myself, you're going to get a home.
Okay.
You're going to get a home, but I'm just saying, to be realistic about it, if you can qualify for a conventional product, I would do that. It makes you a lot more competitive when you're out here looking for a house. And if you have a realtor such as myself, who has the most amazing lending partners,
really,
I can get you approved for a 100% conventional loan. That means you don't even have to pay the 3.5% that people are seeking with an FHA loan. You literally get 100% of the sales price financed, and the only thing you have to bring to the table are going to be your closing costs. And in many cases, I can help you get grants for that.
Really?
Absolutely.
I'm over here going through houses in my head. I'm like, she don't know. I got too many light bulbs in my mind. I'm trying to bring it back in. So what do you think that people's biggest fear is about, or what are our biggest fears when it comes to home buying?
People kind of fear what they don't know a lot of times. And so because people have been told, or they are trained to think, they've been around renting for so long. They were raised in apartments. And so they think that that's the only thing that's available to them. Or if you're like me, I was in high school before my parents purchased purchased a
Okay.
home. Now, let me back because if my mom is listening, hey mama,
Hey, Ma.
she would be pissed for me saying that. My mom purchased and my dad purchased their first properties in their 20s.
Okay.
Before I was born.
Wow.
But when they moved to Atlanta, they started the cycle of renting.
Okay.
And so with my mom being in property management, we were most of the time living on a property that she managed.
Okay.
So I grew up renting. I grew up seeing that until my mom said enough is enough and realized the importance of investing in her own asset.
Okay.
My dad has always had, and both of my parents have always had amazing jobs. My dad has been with Coke for more than 20 years.
Wow.
Before that, he was with his previous employer for more than 20 years.
So they got some work
So
history.
finally, they were like, okay, my mom was like, we got to get a house. And so I saw that later down the line. But for me, in my mind, it's like, okay, that's something that happens that you accomplish later in life. That is so untrue.
Yeah.
That is so untrue. And so that happens, and that kind of, I think that molds the way people envision home ownership.
Yes.
I am so proud to say that I have represented so many young buyers
Put your hands together one
this
time,
year.
but I like that.
My youngest buyer this year was 23 years old. 23 years old, nice 3-bedroom home on a full basement over 1 acre of land in South Fulton. So proud of her, so much so that she has become my mentee.
Wow.
And she is also taking her real estate exam very, very soon here. And she'll be coming on to the brokerage that I work for and manage the team for. And she'll be one of my mentees and team members. So
wow. So you out here changing whole lives out here.
Girl.
It's a whole network. It's a whole lifestyle.
It is. It is. It's so important to me. It's definitely something that I'm passionate about. I understand the value of real estate and investing and how life-changing it can be. So I'm always advocating for it.
Okay. So now when you talk about closing costs and down payments and 3.7 different percentages, so the average person is paying like maybe between like 15 to 17 for rent nowadays, a 1-2
Right.
bedroom. When it comes down to the rent to own program, would they be looking at kind of that same pricing with that program, or would it be
not
up,
exactly?
or?
So 15 to 1700 is typically a 1-bedroom in Atlanta. Now, let me just be transparent because I have put a lot of people in homes through those rent to own programs. My last client who went through Divvy found a home for $235,000. Her rent was $1985 for that home. It's a 2-bedroom townhome.
Okay.
2-bedroom, 2.5 baths in Gwinnett County.
Okay.
So that kind of makes the difference as well. But on average, you should be looking to pay anywhere. Now, she was actually approved to purchase a home up to $330,000. If she had gone up to her max limit of $330,000, she would have been paying about $2,500 a month.
Okay.
But $330,000 can get you a really nice home. In almost any area. You know, for her, a 2-bedroom was her minimum. So we really had some options at $330,000. You can get a really nice fully renovated home for $330,000.
Wow.
And so the thing about it is, you know, although you may be paying $2,500 for a year, let's just say a year, just to round it out, when you finally move into that home, you will already be in the mindset of paying that $2,500. And then once you purchase it, your mortgage is going to be lower than that. So you'll be experiencing savings.
Yeah.
You know, you should be able to budget better when you get to that point.
Right.
And so there will be some relief there. And so there's always like that silver lining. And I think that is what it is.
Okay.
You know, also remember that some of that money that you're paying each month towards or to the company is going towards your down payment when you finally get ready to purchase that house.
So you're putting it back into yourself, essentially.
Absolutely.
Wow. I'm over here asking. I'm asking for y'all too. I'm just saying. So when it comes to like people that want townhouses and homes, is there a big price difference for those out there who may say, well, I feel like a townhome would be cheaper, or is it more expensive with a house? Because I know townhomes also do have the HOA fees too. So
a lot of houses have HOAs as well. It really just depends on the subdivision. But all in all, you know, I think that there's an increase, or I've seen an increase in buyers who prefer a townhome for the simple fact that you have less maintenance. So typically like your lawn maintenance and things like that. And the exterior of the building is going to be handled by the HOA. So it takes some of the load of the responsibility off of the homeowner. Now, there are going to be perks for either or. I have a townhome right now and I absolutely love it, but I am accustomed to houses. I'm accustomed to houses and I like the privacy that it affords. But for me right now in this phase of life that I'm in, the townhome is perfect for me.
Gotcha.
People love it. It's gated. And, you know, I have neighbors on both sides of me who I feel kind of look out for my house when I'm gone, when I'm traveling and things like that. And so, and then we also have a nice pool, you know, so there are some perks I think that come along with it. Now, if you're talking about a house, you can get the same things in a house, but you're normally going to be in a subdivision that also has an HOA. So that's going to be comparable, but you know, they still have pool communities, they have tennis communities, clubhouse communities, all things like that. And so those are options available to you. But I do have a lot of people who are seeking homes that are outside of subdivisions because they don't want an HOA. Because the thing about an HOA, although there are perks to it, many times they have different restrictions
I've heard about
that
those.
can be good or bad, right? So I took a client on Monday to see a home in Stone Mountain. Beautiful community, but it has just been destroyed by the amount of renters who are in the community. There is a such thing called home ownership pride. And so sometimes when you get renters, and this is not across the board, this does not apply for all renters, but sometimes you get people who don't actually own the asset into the community and they don't keep it up as well, right? So they don't look at it the same. And sometimes that is going to reflect in the way that the neighborhood looks when you come into it. So HOAs are going to restrict many times the amount of renters that can be in a community. And so once they've capped, once they've hit that 20% or whatever number, that's it. Everybody else has to be an owner occupier. And they do that because they want to keep the values up.
Wow. So. Listen, when we come back, we're going to talk some more debris. I got a whole bunch of questions running in my mind. I'm trying to ask questions for y'all out there, but I got my own questions. This is my private session right now. So anyway, make sure you guys stay locked and loaded. 101 TK Radio with Atlanta's own Bree Simone. We'll be back in a minute. Y'all stay locked in. Jaya. Oh my gosh, they really have Hey.
Tell
Tell him, Bree. Tell him, Bree. Y'all know Bree be singing them tunes now.
I be trying.
She be singing them tunes now. Put your hands together one time. We got Atlanta's own Bree song. We talking about house buying, income, and all that. You ready for the next phase of questions?
I am.
I got a lot of questions
Should
today.
I be scared?
Never that. This is what you do. So we were talking about the whole home buying industry, the real estate field. Let's dig into income and how real estate agents and how companies look at income that qualifies you for homes.
Okay.
So how does that exactly work? Are they looking for X per month, like how apartments do, or how does that work?
So they are looking at your debt to income ratio. So they're looking at your overall salary.
Okay.
If you are salaried. Now, there are many entrepreneurs who have beautiful homes, and you can be an entrepreneur and buy a home as well. But the qualification criteria, the process is different.
Okay.
So there are different products, as I mentioned before. Now, the most surefire way to get a house is to be a paycheck employee.
Okay.
So you get a check, you know, every other week or twice a month, once a month. And so you can report an annual salary, and they can call the company or send over the verification of employment and boom, get it right back. Right. So you, in many instances, do not have to submit your taxes a lot of times with that. And so even if you do, all of it is just really straightforward, right? Your W-2. And so everything is so straightforward and easy. Now, that's the most surefire way. But if that's not your case, and for me as an entrepreneur, as an independent contractor, a realtor, that's not the case for me.
Okay.
So what happens is I have to show my income by way of income taxes.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. A lot of us, and I've been guilty of this as well, when we file our income taxes, we are taking as many
credits and
write-offs as we can possibly take so that we don't owe as much. We want to reduce our tax liability, or we want to hopefully get a little something back. So we write so much off, and that affects our income, our stated income.
Really?
That can hurt you. That can really hurt you. So what I suggest and recommend, and many times you have to have 2 years of tax returns. Now, if you have been an entrepreneur or an independent contractor for more than 5 years and you've been filing your taxes for more than 5 years, then you only have to show 1 year of income taxes. But if it's been under 5 years, you do have to show 2 years.
Okay.
Now, you can go and have your taxes amended. That is one option. But for people who are getting in that mode right now and understand the importance and what they need to do, and this is why it's so important to align yourself with a realtor who can get you on that path to home ownership. You want to go ahead and start getting your ducks in a row. And when you file your taxes, you want to start showing that income. You want to start showing so you can qualify for more home. Now, if you just don't want to do that, all right? So you don't get a paycheck. You're not a salaried employee. You're not a W-2 employee. And you don't want to show the 1 or 2 years because you have been writing a lot of things off and you can't show that stated income. There's a product called a bank statement loan.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Now, a bank statement loan is very valuable. I know a lot of entrepreneurs who have $1 million homes with a bank statement loan. Now, a bank statement loan, here's the thing. You got to have a lot of cash flow.
I'm about to say,
if you're going to do a bank statement loan, they're going to want to see about a year's worth of your income, your cash flow in and out of that account. They also want to make sure that you have what is called reserves. So they want to see that you can make that mortgage payment for at least a year.
Okay.
And so you're going to have to show a significant amount of money in your account if you want to do a bank statement loan. So you do have options. If you're an entrepreneur, make sure that you have 1 to 2 years of bank statements, or not bank statements, but tax returns that show a significant amount of income, the amount of income that is required for you to qualify for the amount of house that you want.
Wow.
So if you want a big house,
you got to show a big bank statement.
You got to either show a big bank statement, or you got to show your tax returns. You got to show that you were actually making money and not taking a loss.
Okay.
Because I'm going to tell you, my first year as an entrepreneur, baby, I was writing everything off.
Listen.
I was writing it all off. I said, look, at the end of the day, they said, girl, you made $1,000.
Yeah.
You made $1,000. That's what I made. Yeah. So this year, I am going to show all of my income this year. and it's going to be in the six figures. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a tax debt that comes along with that.
I know that's right.
And I'm just preparing myself for it. You know, you can actually call the IRS and set up a payment plan.
You can.
People, you can do that.
Yes.
Okay. And here's another thing. All right. You can you can thank me later for this one.
Free
but
game.
if you show all of your income, you file your taxes. Okay. You have a tax debt. You can again go back after you get your home and amend your taxes.
Wow.
Absolutely. So you don't have to take the write-offs right now.
Okay.
File your taxes, show your income, get your house.
And
then go back and file your write-offs and your exemptions. You can do that later on. Now make sure that they are legitimate.
Okay.
Adjustments. Okay. You want to make sure that they are legitimate write-offs. But you can do that after you've shown a significant amount of income and gotten into your house. Okay.
So it's a lot of different ways you can
it's a lot. It's like anything else.
So I'm curious, what do you feel like has been your toughest case that you've done as far as getting somebody in a home? What's been your hardest one, or where you're like, I did it, we got it?
A lot of them.
Really?
A lot of them. It's never really like a straight and narrow path to the finish line. It's always zigzags.
Okay.
But entrepreneurs are definitely the hardest, especially when they have these random contracts.
Yeah.
You know, so like for me, I'm a realtor and I'm an independent contractor. And so that's a steady thing. But like people in the film industry, for instance.
Right.
And they're working these jobs.
Sporadic jobs.
Exactly.
And just 2-3
different
months
companies.
and moving around.
Exactly.
Right.
We really have to piece those things together and create a story. Like we have to create a narrative.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes that is easier said than done. But again, it takes the work of a team. And so for me, I am aligned with some phenomenal lenders who have the same goal and objective as I do.
Okay.
And that's to get my clients to the finish line and get them get them in a home. So that definitely helps. But I will say it's been really, really rewarding to help people get into houses. And I don't really like the easy cases.
Okay.
You know, I appreciate them all.
Yeah.
But I like the client who comes to me and doesn't think that they can get in a home.
Yeah.
I like to prove them different. You know, when the competition was really stiff during the pandemic and the interest rates were like 2.9%, 3%. Interest rates were great during the pandemic. That's why there was so much competition.
Oh.
So that's how I know about that hierarchy when it comes to what type of loan you have. So many cash investors were down here trying to buy up real estate. And then we had the conventional people, then we had the FHA and the VA. And so I was in the mud with the FHA and the VAs.
Right.
Like, look, I don't care how many cash offers they got. We gonna get you a house.
Right.
We gonna get this house. I was writing love letters and everything. Love letters are a real thing. And sometimes in the listing, they'll specifically say no love letters.
Now, what's a love letter?
A love letter is something that you write to the realtor, the listing agent, and hopefully they will present it to their seller client.
Really?
But it's a love letter. You write it and you just say, hey, you know, my clients fell in love with this home. My client is pregnant right now, and she's
so
due in about
like
30 to 60 days.
Attorney in real estate.
She, you know, this job is, I mean, this property is really close to her job, and so it's going to be very convenient. I wrote a love letter one time, and I was like, look, you know, my clients have 2 kids and they really don't want to uproot them from their schools. It's so important. They play sports in the area at the neighborhood YMCA, and we really, really love this home. You know, and I know that you have, I visited the community. I know that you have a relationship with your neighbors because I got that feel from the neighborhood when I went there the other day. And so just think about it. You know, this is somebody who is, you know, a single mother, but she's a hard worker.
Yeah.
She has such well-mannered children, and that playground, oh my goodness, is such a beautiful playground. She's somebody who has so much home ownership pride, and she's going to make sure that she looks out for your neighbors the same way I bet you were looking out for them when you were there. That's a real thing.
Wow. Like
That's
you
a real
go
thing.
to bat for
Yeah.
them. Like,
oh yeah. Whatever it is that needs to be done, I'm doing it.
You know what? I can't tell you the last time or if I've ever heard a real estate agent say that. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying? Because it seems like the air that we kind of are given is like it's a privilege to work with me. You know what I'm saying? That kind of pretentious attitude
Well,
instead of
let
let me
me
help
just say
you.
it is a privilege
It
to
is a
work with me.
privilege, but it's like a respectable thing. It's like you know what?
Absolutely.
It's a mutual thing that's warm and inviting.
Oh yeah.
So I'm curious, how do you find your houses? Like how do they submit them to you?
So my clients, they live on Zillow, okay,
Okay.
and Realtor.com. So they're always sending me homes.
Mm-hmm.
But as a realtor, we have access to the Georgia MLS system, FMLS. And so those are systems that you have to be licensed in order to access.
Okay.
And so we have, and there's a little bit more inventory than what's posted or shown on Zillow
Absolutely.
in those systems. And so I put my clients on what's called a drip campaign and on e-alerts. And so I go in and I take really detailed notes and I put in exactly what it is that they want, what their criteria is or consists of. And so anytime something like that becomes available, including the area, the size of the home, whether, you know, it has a pool or how many acres it sits on, I put in all of those things that they want. If they want a ranch, they want a ranch on a basement, if they want a 2-story, 3-story. And so when those homes become available, it automatically sends them an email with that listing to check out.
Wow. So does that same process work for the rent to own program as well, or does like Divvy and
Absolutely.
Landis have just a separate?
Oh no, with the rent to own properties or with that process, it is amazing. One of the most amazing things about it is that when they approve you, and the approval process is really fast with them, but once
Really?
they approve you, you go home shopping like you were purchasing the house yourself. So Divvy and Landis will just go in and purchase the house that you pick. There's not like a select inventory of Divvy or Landis homes.
Oh, they just go in because
No,
once
no,
you
no.
approve their program, they go in like the
They
big
give you a
boys.
budget. They say, okay, you got up to $330,000. So guess what? You go home shopping like you just qualified for a $330,000 mortgage. Yeah. So you go pick the house, and then Landis or Divvy will step in and they buy the home cash. Right. So that also makes it a more compelling and competitive offer.
Right.
Because now you have a
The
cash
whole
offer.
cash offer. So you just went to the top of the pile.
That's it. That's it.
Wow.
And now you get the home of your dreams, and you get to rent it for the next 2 to 3 years until you can afford to buy it from Landis or Divvy.
You know what? I'm over here. I wish you could just see inside my brain. Maybe you can see it in my eyes. It's like my whole brain is like firing off. So for the average person, when it comes to townhomes, would you say that there are more buyers for townhomes as far as like the single? Because Atlanta's known for our single, community. Do you think do you see more families in townhomes, or do you see more singles? And I'm
see
just curious.
both. I see
Really?
both. I mean, because my townhome community I have a 3-bedroom townhome. They have 4-bedroom townhomes in my community. Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. And it's split down the middle. I know so many singles who want homes.
Yeah.
Like they want a house and that's what they're getting. I just sold a house to my client. We closed on last Friday on the 30th. Shout out to Tawana if she's listening.
Shout out.
But oh my goodness, beautiful home, newly renovated in South Fulton on 3 acres.
3.
And when I tell it's just her, it has a detached garage that
Yes.
she's going to turn that into a studio apartment. So that is she's house hacking.
Okay.
And that's a really popular thing now. So that's why houses are really popular among singles because they are trying to house hack. And so to house hack, you basically have someone renting from you who is going to pay your mortgage, okay, or cover most of it. So there are singles who are investing in multifamily now. They're buying duplexes.
Wow.
They're
I've
staying
heard
on
that.
one side and
Yeah.
then they are renting the other side. You have someone like Tawana who has the detached garage and she's turning the garage into a detached studio, and that's going to be beautiful. She's also making it handicap accessible.
Wow.
And so a lot of her funding is going to come from the government. Okay.
Because now she can turn to a need.
Exactly. Wow. Exactly. She's going to also have a handicap accessible van.
Oh,
And
she
so
got a
she's
whole
gonna-
business plan.
Absolutely. And she can list that on sites like Turo.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are a lot of perks. There are also clients who I put into homes who rent out their basements. I have a client right now, no lie. We were looking at homes on Monday and I said, okay, well, let's just look, because she was talking about renting out a room in her home. And I said, for me, I think that's a little too personal. I don't want anyone
in my
main primary space.
No.
So I started talking to her about, a house with a basement. And then I gave her some examples of what my clients in the past have been able to do. And she said, oh my goodness, I love that. And so because it's just her, she has 3 grown children and she right now lives in a basement apartment. She was like, I never even really thought about that. I live in a basement apartment. I said, well, here's another thing that you can do. You can get a house, okay, 3-4 bedroom house, can even be a 2 or 3 bedroom house. All right. And if you are accustomed to living in the basement already, it's not a bad idea for you to continue living in your own basement and you put a family above you and you have them paying for your asset. She said, you know what? That's what I want to do. Let's do it. So now we're looking for a house on a basement. She is going to be the basement.
I know that's right.
Tenant, okay? And she is going to put a family above her who will pay the entire mortgage and then some.
Now that is very smart.
Absolutely.
So there are a lot of strategies, obviously, that can keep you in your home.
So many strategies. So many. And so that's perfect for a single. And then when you're bringing people to your house, you're having company, it's still your house.
Okay.
You can keep an eye on your assets.
True. You're still watching everything, making sure the maintenance is good.
Absolutely.
The upkeep.
Absolutely.
Now, let me ask you this. So, I live in the Johns Creek area. So, a lot of people tend to feel like those areas, they can't get a house in just because, it's Johns Creek or Alpharetta. When it comes to, the process of rent to own and buying a home, do you kind of lead them and say, well, here's your budget, so you may want to stay in the Stone Mountain area, or do you open it all up,
So when my clients have a budget, normally they'll tell me where they want to stay. And so I will pull homes from those areas and send them to them. And then just so they have a realistic view, what I do is I take out the city.
Okay.
And I just leave the budget. And then I sort by the city. And so I send them what their budget will allow them, what areas their budget will allow them to move into. And then I show them, okay, if you want to live in Johns Creek, I'll send them the average of a home price in the Johns Creek area.
Okay.
And so then they see realistically. Now, sometimes they just must. I did have a client who, she felt like I have to be in Johns Creek. Homes in the Johns Creek area, homes in Gwinnett. And then if you are, because a lot of times her job was in Duluth. And so she wanted to be in that Gwinnett area. And then she was willing to venture into, I think it was Roswell, Alpharetta, Johns Creek.
Okay.
To kind of keep her within a certain range. And then she also was looking for the school systems in that area.
Okay.
And so we started out in Hampton, believe it or not, but she was working remotely at that time. And so her job said, it's time for you guys to come back. So at that point, she said, I'm not willing to commute. I've got to be close to this job. And so she said, I really want to be in Johns Creek. So I showed her what Johns Creek had to offer for her. And she had a high school aged child. So, she was like, I don't really like this house. And then I showed her some other areas in Gwinnett, Lawrenceville especially. You can kind of get a little bit more bang for your buck.
Okay.
And so I took her out there. She looked and she was like, okay, I do like these homes a lot better. They are bigger. They are nicer. But at the end of the day, she wanted to be Johns Creek. So that's what we did. So she, instead of getting a 3-bedroom, was only able to get a 2-bedroom. But it was still a really nice home. The thing about Johns Creek, there are no bad communities or neighborhoods in Johns Creek.
It's in Johns Creek.
Exactly.
Right.
So no matter what you get, it's still going to be really nice. It just most likely is going to be smaller.
Okay, yeah.
So you're going to get a little bit less house in areas like Alpharetta and Johns Creek.
Okay, just because of that area and
Absolutely.
such.
And there, so the same thing applies for Buckhead, for instance. My last client came to me. He was like, I want a house in Buckhead. It has to be in Buckhead. So I was like, okay, well, we know how Sandy Springs is kind of on the butt.
Yeah, so you can kind of catch it a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, let me see if I can get him in Sandy Springs so he can get what he wants, because his budget was $1.5 million. But in Buckhead, that's not a lot of money.
That's nothing. Yeah, that's a condo at the 12.
That's not a lot of money. So I was like, let me take him to Sandy Springs. Took him to Sandy Springs, blew his mind.
I know that's right.
We started in Buckhead, and he was just like, oh goodness, is this it? Is this? Yeah, that's it.
Buckhead.
That is it. So took him to Sandy Springs. House blew blew his mind. At the end of the day, he was like, I must be in Buckhead though. He was like, this is the right house, the wrong location. So he was dead set on Buckhead. So we had to go to Buckhead. But what we wound up doing was we found a home that needed to be renovated. So we found a home for $800,000.
Okay.
And then he had about 700,000 to put into it to make it his own.
That's
so
a good
that's what we
deal right
decided to do.
there.
Absolutely. So now that 1.5 can be spent differently, and you can actually get what you want in Buckhead. But if you're looking for an already $1.5 million house, the type of modern mansion that he was looking for, you're not gonna get it.
Wow.
Okay, it's about $2.5 million in Buckhead. But we were able to take that $800,000 house, put $700,000 into it, and kind of create that $2 million home.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm over here like this is my boss. So now let me ask you this. When it comes to homes that are already built versus like Stone Mountain, they're doing a lot of building up over there. Do you for the average buyer, the new homeowner rather, do you find that it's easier to get them into homes that like the newer ones that are like just being built this year, or some of the older ones that are already done? Or does it depend?
Really? It really just depends on what people want.
Okay.
A lot of clients come to me and they want new construction. They want new construction. Now, I try to educate my clients. There are some things that come along with new construction.
Yeah.
Just like anything, it's like you gotta work the kinks out,
Gotta make sure everything is good.
Exactly. So sometimes you move in, like there are things that you don't expect because it's new.
Yeah.
It's new. Now, a lot of times with a resale, a home that's being resold, somebody's worked out the kinks already. Now, it's not brand new. You're not the first person laying your butt in their house.
But it's already in position to be.
Exactly. So, I like newer homes.
Okay.
I don't necessarily like brand new or older. I like newer. Newish. Right.
Not just brand spanking new.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let somebody work the kinks out for me. There are a lot of homes right now, even that you can get to that were built in 2020.
Wow.
Beautiful homes. Now, with new construction, though, you do get some incentives. Right.
Really?
So sometimes the builders have incentives, and especially if you go with a preferred lender, because they will partner with lenders. And so they may have incentives where they're giving you like $6,000 towards your closing costs. And then they're allowing you these upgraded appliance packages and things like that,
So they're going to sweeten it up,
Exactly.
Course.
They'll sweeten the deal, but you also have a longer waiting period.
Okay.
So if you're looking to get into a house by Christmas right now, you can't go new construction.
Yeah.
It's going, that process is typically right around 6 months. Okay. And so you have to be patient, but there are some incentives. But now with the market the way it is, there are incentives any way you go, any route you go. I tell people, let's go get you a house. I have one client who I'm working with right now. She said, I got $3,000 saved, Bree. That's it. I said, okay, Ann. Let's go get a house. She was like, well, I was working with a friend before, she was my realtor. And basically she sent me to her lender and they said I needed $16,000. And my friend was like, okay, come holler at me when you got $16,000.
That would have hurt my heart.
Yeah. But that's a lot of realtors' attitude.
Were you able to help her?
Well, I just got her pre-approval yesterday from my lender.
Congratulations.
And thank you. Yes, I'm super excited about this because when I read the email on my way here this morning. And my lender, broke it down. When I talked to my lender yesterday, she said, well, she's not going to qualify for that 100%. And I said, oh, man, because I was really hoping she does because she only has $3,000. And my lender said, I know, she told me. She said, but she would qualify for it. Her student loans are hurting her right now. She said she would qualify for it in January. So I said, well, do you think we should just wait until January? She said, no, I'm going to go ahead and send this pre-approval over. So I was like, okay. So now I know that in this market, because there's less competition, I can go to bat. I can get some closing costs from the seller. Sellers used to pay closing costs all the time.
Wow.
Okay. But during the market, during like the pandemic, they weren't paying anything because they was getting 20, 30, 40 offers. So they didn't have to pay anything. In fact, buyers were paying $20, $30,000 over the asking price. So sellers weren't giving anything. But now these houses are sitting a lot longer. Okay. The interest rates have increased. So the amount of competition on these houses or for these homes has decreased as well. So now sellers are like, okay, I need to sell it. So, I'll give you some closing costs out of my proceeds because it's not like they're paying it out of their pocket.
Yeah.
If they are getting $100,000 from the sale of their house,
You
they're
can
just giving you
afford to-
6,000
to
of
help-
that
to
100,000.
take your home off your hands.
Exactly. So they're a lot more willing to do that. So, I know that I can do that for her. So I said, okay, well, that'll take care of one part of it. But then we still got that other 3% or 3 to 5% that she has to put down. And so I read the email my lender sent over, and she said, hey, you've been approved for this amount. It's 3% down requirement, but I can get you a grant since you're a school teacher for 3%. So guess what?
She going house shopping.
We going house shopping.
I'm happy for her.
Baby, yes. I
Oh
love
my
it. I love it.
gosh.
And so, and I'm happy to be able to help somebody like that. Cause again, people don't know. People do not know. And then for your, and sometimes the realtors just don't know, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's important to align yourself with a professional, somebody who takes what they do seriously, because
Yeah.
you're never going to, as my client, you're never going to not know because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm a know.
You gonna know first.
I'm a know. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to know. So I keep my finger on the pulse of the real estate industry.
So you can
That is
be-
my job. Exactly. So that I can educate my clients, because the last thing I want is for them to be in a position where they could have gotten something else or gotten something more or gotten something better
Yeah.
if I had only known.
Wow.
So that'll never be the case.
Wow.
Yeah.
So for the average person, how should they approach, or what's the best way to approach a real estate agent? For those out there who are like, I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
How does the average person come and say, hey, I'm looking for a house? What does that conversation look
Yeah,
like?
if you come across an agent, just hit them up. And Zillow is a good platform. Like, I have a ton of reviews on Zillow, and so do other agents. And so that's a great starting point. You can go there, you can see what other, customers and clients have to say about realtors. And you'll see a lot of my clients are going to say in their reviews, Bree helped us so much. She educated us through the process, and we were literally in our house in less than 30 days from the moment that we started looking. And so those are the type of things, those are the type of qualities that you want to look for. But reach out, don't be afraid, and make sure that you communicate to your agent that you want to be educated on the process. You don't just want a house.
You want to know what's going on.
Right. You want to
understand.
be, first of all, you need to have a briefing. A briefing should always take place. I'm always going to do a home buyer's consultation.
Okay.
All right, so I have a whole home buyer's package. I will send that to you, and then I'm going to have a conversation with you. I'm going to let you know what your options are. And if you are not ready, because some people just are not ready.
Yeah.
Some people don't even qualify for the divvy and the landis, right? Because some people don't even have the 2% that's required. There are some people whose scores aren't 550. They are in the 400s, and that's okay. But what I am going to do is put you on a path to home ownership at that point. And so I need you to be as candid as you can be. All right. And tell me exactly what it is so that I can tell you the things that you need to do to be ready.
Yeah.
Most of the time, like I tell people when they come to me, it's not a no. It's just a not right now.
Yeah.
That is it. That is
Yeah.
all. And so I've never dealt with a case where it's taken more than a year
Really?
to get ready. Yeah.
Wow. So my last question before we go, look, I got all the questions in the room. So how does the process work after they pick the home, after they've been approved? How soon does the move-in start, or what happens after they say, this is the house that I want?
Yeah, so it depends on what product you have, right? If you're a cash buyer, I've worked with so many cash buyers, especially post-pandemic, because a lot of people sold their properties and made so much money that they were able to just go and buy another property cash.
Okay.
We can close you in 10 days if you are a cash buyer. If you have a loan or a mortgage, it's going to take a little bit longer, anywhere from 21 to 30 days.
Okay.
45 days is a long time. 30 days is average.
Okay.
21 days, that is that's the tip right there. That's the minimum amount of days we can do it if you're going to get financed. But yeah, so cash 10 days, 10 to 14, I'll give you a range. And then if you are getting your home financed, 21 to 30 days.
Okay. Wow. Listen, well, if y'all didn't learn a whole lot today about home ownership, I'm over here shopping like, what area I want to be in.
Yes, let's go
I'm really
shopping.
excited. So where can we find you online? How can we book for you? For everyone listening, how do we get in touch with Bree?
Yes, you guys check me out at Love Bree Simone on IG. Again, I am a squad leader and a licensed realtor with the Cole Realty Group. Shout out to all of my teammates. Shout
Hands
out to
together one
all of my
time for
colleagues
him.
and my broker, Valen Lyons. Thank you so much, Chelsea, for
Yeah,
having me.
I'm excited. I love interviewing my personalities because I get to find out what they really do. And so my mind is just like open with so many like questions. I'm like, oh my God, what about this, Brie?
I
What
know.
about this? Because honestly, like, and just being real, I've been one of those people that's been scared to have the home conversation because it's easy to talk about entrepreneurship.
Right.
But when you got to get personal with somebody and say,
Yeah.
look, this is what it's looking like.
Don't be
because of that
scared.
fear.
Don't be scared. Take the fear out of it. You guys, look, ignorance is a real thing. And if you don't ask, you will be ignorant to the possibilities.
Wow.
All right. And so yeah, don't do that. Don't be that person. Here's another thing. I get a lot of clients who are working with like friends and family members. And so I think a lot of times that happens because you're like, you have to be extremely vulnerable and you have to really expose yourself. And so if that is you, if that is the case, hit me up at Love Bree Simone.
I know that's right.
Okay. I don't mind getting in your business and I can keep a secret. It will be between me and
Facts.
you. The only thing people need to know is that at the end of the day, baby, they got a housewarming to come to.
I know that's right. Well, we have enjoyed you. We're going to have to bring you back again just to give us like the real estate temperature check of the month. Because I think people just need to know, what the whole field is like and understand that you can be a homeowner. It's easier than you think. It may be a process, but it can happen.
Stop paying rent, y'all, okay? Everybody is paying a mortgage.
Rent.
It just may not be your own.
Boy, I'm so sick of it. With that being said, y'all know what time it is. Make sure you stay locked and loaded. The Smoke Show with Max is up next. If you want Bree Simone, make sure you find her at Bree Simone. Y'all already know what time it is. 101 TKO Radio, knocking them out the box. Holla.
Hey.
Yes.